About $440. That's what it costs to sit the Security Plus exam right now, and here's the trap nobody warns you about. Thousands of first-timers pay it twice, burning a second voucher on a retake they could have avoided before they ever answer a single question, and is one box on the checkout page that quietly decides whether this whole thing costs you $400 or nearly $800, and almost no beginner even looks at it. Hang on to that, because it changes the math completely.
This is Erica, and here's the part that surprises people. Before you study a single topic, you register, and it's genuinely 4 steps, none of which is the exam itself. Step 1 is the smallest one. You create a free CompTIA account, and that account is what actually holds your certification record for life.
So this is our Start Here episode for the whole free Security Plus series. Today isn't a topic on the exam, it's the map to getting into the exam room without a costly mistake, so you can spend every other episode just learning.
Okay, here, and step 2 is where your money moves. You buy the exam voucher, which is just a prepaid code. It isn't the exam, and it isn't a seat yet. It's the token you'll redeem when you book. 1 voucher, 1 attempt.
Hi everyone, I'm Isabella. Step 3 is the one that finally puts you in a chair. You schedule at Pearson VUE, the company that runs CompTIA's exams, and you pick your date and whether you sit in a testing center or take it online from home. Same exam, 2 very different rooms.
Let me actually show you where that scheduling happens, because people picture some mysterious portal, and it's honestly a lot plainer than that. This is the real Pearson VUE page for CompTIA.
Right here, 1 button to sign in and schedule, reschedule, or cancel, and a link to find a test center, including centers on military bases. You log in with the same CompTIA account you made in step 1, and it walks you straight to a calendar of open dates.
And notice you can reschedule from that same screen. If life happens, you're not stuck. Just move the date instead of losing the voucher, as long as you do it before the deadline the page shows you.
Now the mistake in red, and it's a quiet one. Don't buy that voucher the day you decide to certify. It expires 1 year from the purchase date, and that clock cannot be extended. Buy it when you're actually within reach of your test date, not months before you've opened a book.
An exam day itself has a rule that catches good people off guard. You need 2 valid IDs, and you want to arrive about 15 minutes early. Show up late, and that seat can be forfeited, voucher and all. Treat the clock as part of the test before the test even starts.
Picture Marcus, a 34-year-old warehouse supervisor moving into IT. He does it in the correct order. Free account first, then he studies for a month, then he buys the voucher and books the date in 1 sitting. No expired code, no wasted money, no panic.
That order matters so much that I want to pull in the question everyone types under a video like this one. Kai, before we get to the money, take the one people ask first.
Yeah, and it's the money one. How much does the Security Plus exam actually cost? And can I retake it if I fail? Short version, it's around $440, and yes, you can retake it, but you pay again each time. The good news is there are honest ways to pay less, and that's exactly where we're headed next.
So that's your on-ramp. Account, voucher, schedule, exam day. And if you want to prove you're ready before you spend $1, we keep free practice quizzes and study material at certs.professorerica.com, built to match these exact objectives. Now let's talk real money and how to keep more of it.
About $439 direct from CompTIA. That's the number as of this year, and here's the honest caveat. CompTIA raised its exam prices in 2026, so treat any figure you hear, including mine, as a snapshot.
So rule 1, and it's free money. Before you buy anything, open CompTIA.org and read the current price yourself. A number in a video ages. The store never lies about today.
And you rarely have to pay that full list price. Authorized training partners resell the exact same official voucher, often for a chunk less, and it redeems identically. The exam doesn't know or care where you bought the code.
And if you're a student, this is the one to shout about. CompTIA runs an academic store with genuinely discounted vouchers for learners, and it's the single biggest legitimate saving on this whole page. If you're enrolled anywhere, start there before you pay retail.
Let me put the bundles on screen because this is where that mystery checkout box from the top finally shows up. It says CompTIA's own store.
Here's the complete bundle, with the words that matter, with retake. That single option decides whether a fail costs you nothing extra or another $400. Because remember the hard rule, there is no free retake. Fail on a plain voucher and attempt 2 is a second full purchase.
So let's do the actual arithmetic, because a bundle is only smart if the numbers say so. 2 ways to reach a passing score. Watch which one wins. Path 1. Buy a plain voucher, and if attempt 1 fails, buy a second. 2 full vouchers, close to $900. Path 2, the voucher plus retake bundle. 1 price up front that includes a second attempt, and it lands well under paying twice.
Which is why, if you're a nervous first-timer or you're testing before you feel fully ready, the retake bundle is genuine insurance. You pay a little more to remove the sting of a fail. For a lot of career changers, that peace of mind is worth it.
But buy a retake you never use and you just overpaid on purpose.
That's fair, and it's the honest other half. If you've done a full practice exam and you're consistently scoring well past passing, the plain voucher is the cheaper, smarter buy. The bundle protects doubt, not confidence. So price your own readiness, not your nerves.
Marcus, our warehouse supervisor, went plain voucher because he'd hit passing on 2 practice tests in a row. He backed himself and saved the bundle premium. That was the right call for him, and it might not be yours, and that's the whole point.
So the money plan is simple. Check today's price, hunt the student or partner discount first, and only buy the retake bundle if you honestly doubt attempt 1. Next, what actually happens inside those 90 minutes? One thing before the next part, and then we move right on. If any of this is clicking, tap that like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for the next one. It takes a second, it costs nothing, and it helps more than you would think. "90 minutes. Up to 90 questions. That's roughly 1 minute per question if you treat them all the same, which you absolutely should not, because 2 very different question types are waiting for you.
The first type is ordinary multiple choice. The second is the performance-based question, a small hands-on simulation where you configure something or read output and act on it. Those take longer, and they usually sit right at the front of the exam.
And the bar to pass is a number that confuses everyone. You need 750, but on a scale from 100 to 900. That's a scaled score, not a raw 75 out of 90. CompTIA never publishes a fixed count of right answers, so aim to be comfortable, not to scrape a line.
And one relief for total beginners. There's no hard prerequisite. CompTIA recommends Network Plus and about 2 years of hands-on security work, but those are suggestions, not gates. You can book this exam as a motivated newcomer, which is exactly who this series is built for.
Now, where do the points actually live? Because the 5 domains are not equal, not even close, and that gap should reshape how you spend every study hour.
Here's why the 5 domains should drive your study hours, because they're weighted very differently. Domain 4, Security Operations, is the giant at 28%, more than 1 in 4 questions. Domain 2, Threats and Mitigations, is second at 22. Then Program Management at 20, Architecture at 18, and General Concepts, the smallest, at just 12.
So look at that split like an optimizer. Operations and threats together are half the whole exam. If your hours are limited, that's where the majority of them go. Studying all 5 domains evenly, in red there, is how strong candidates quietly hand back points.
And what does the room where you use all this actually look like? For most people, it's a computer testing center. Quiet rows of workstations, 1 screen, 1 keyboard, a proctor watching. This is a real one.
That's it. No printed booklet, no number 2 pencil. You sit at an assigned station, the exam loads on that screen, and everything you configure in a performance-based question happens right there in the software. It's calm, controlled, and honestly less dramatic than the nerves make it feel.
So does that mean I have to drive to one of these centers, or can I take it from home?
That is the exact fork most people agonize over, and it deserves a real debate, not a shrug. Because the answer genuinely depends on who you are and where you'd be testing.
So here's the fork that splits every comment section. Same exam, same price. Two completely different rooms. Kay thinks testing from home is the obvious efficient choice. Isabella trusts the testing center to remove the surprises. This actually matters because picking the wrong one can end your exam before it starts. Kay, make your case.
Online wins on friction. No drive, no parking, no sitting in a waiting room. You book a slot, you run a system check ahead of time, and you test at your own desk. For anyone rural or without a nearby center, it's not convenience, it's access.
Access, yes. But let me tell you what online actually demands of your room. A completely clear desk, no phone, no notes, no second monitor, no one else allowed to walk in, ever. A proctor scans your whole room through your webcam first. And if a family member opens the door mid-exam, it can be voided.
Hold on, Kai, before you answer. Is the real risk the room rules, or the technology itself?
Honestly, it's the technology, and I'll concede that. Your webcam, your microphone, and above all your internet have to hold for 90 minutes. A dropped connection mid-question is the nightmare, and it's out of your hands.
Which is the whole case for the testing center. Their machine, their network, their power. If something fails, it's their problem to fix, and staff are right there in the room. You trade the drive for someone else owning every technical risk.
Fair, and for a performance-based question where you're clicking through a simulation, a rock-solid connection genuinely matters more than people expect.
And there's the quiet human factor. Some people test better in a neutral room built for it. Others freeze the moment a stranger watches them through a webcam in their own bedroom. That's not a small thing. That's your score.
So hold on, it's not really convenience versus safety.
No, it's honest self-knowledge. If your internet is solid, your room can lock down fully private, and a webcam doesn't rattle you. Online is a great, efficient choice. If not, the center owns every technical risk for you.
So here's the verdict, and it's grounded in how Pearson VUE actually runs both. Both are the identical exam and both are legitimate. Choose online if you have a private room, reliable internet, and steady nerves. Choose the testing center if your connection is shaky, your home is busy, or you simply want someone else to own every technical risk. Match the room to your real life, not to whichever sounds easier.
You click submit, and here's the payoff. For the multiple choice portion, you get your result on the screen almost immediately, a pass or a fail, right there in the room. No waiting weeks by the mailbox.
And when it says pass, congratulations, you're Security Plus certified. But here's the part most people don't realize until later. That certification is not forever. It's valid for 3 years from the day you pass.
Which sounds like a catch, but it's really just the field keeping you current. Security in 2029 won't look like today, and the cert reflects that. The good news is you almost never have to sit this whole exam again. Let me lay out the clock.
The moment you pass, a 3-year clock starts. Inside that window, you keep it alive, and at the deadline, it either renews or it lapses. Miss the deadline, and you're back to square one, paying and sitting the full exam. So the whole game is renewing before that date.
The most common path is 50 continuing education units called CEUs spread across those 3 years. One unit is roughly an hour of qualifying learning, a webinar, a conference, a related course. Normal professional growth quietly earns most of it for you.
Or, if collecting units sounds like homework, there's a single official course called CertMaster CE. Complete it and your 3 years reset. No second exam required. One clean path for people who'd rather do one thing than track many.
And the optimizer's favorite. If you move up to a higher CompTIA certification, that automatically renews Security Plus underneath it. You upgrade your career and your renewal at the same time, zero wasted effort.
But let it lapse, in red, and there's no shortcut. An expired Security Plus means sitting the entire exam over, paying the full voucher again. So put your renewal deadline on a calendar the same week you pass. Future you will be grateful.
So that's the full arc, from an empty CompTIA account to a certification you keep alive for years. Register in the correct order, pay the least you honestly can, walk in knowing the format, pick the room that fits your life, and diary the renewal the day you pass.
Say the one thing to remember, Liam.
If you remember one line, make it this. The exam is the easy part to schedule and the expensive part to redo, so get the logistics right once and let every other episode just be about learning the security. So that's the whole Start Here map for the Security Plus exam. Create a free account, buy the voucher when you're close to ready, schedule at Pearson VUE, and know it's 90 minutes for up to 90 questions with a scaled pass at 750.
My favorite money line, do not buy the retake bundle out of nerves. Do a full practice exam first. If you're clearing the bar, the plain voucher is the smarter buy, and that's real dollars back in your pocket.
And mine, the certification lasts 3 years, so the day you pass, write your renewal date down. 50 CEUs or CertMaster CE or a higher cert, and you never sit this exam twice.
Next up in the series, we get into the actual security. We start with Domain 1, the vocabulary every other domain speaks, and we prove each idea instead of just claiming it.
If a free, complete, no-nonsense Security Plus course is what you've been hunting for, subscribe and hit like so the next episode finds you, and grab the free practice quizzes at certs.professorerica.com to test yourself between videos.
Here's the one only you can answer. Are you planning to test at a center or online from home, and what's the one thing still making you nervous about booking? Tell us in the comments, because your answer shapes which deep dive we build next.
Curiosity compounds faster than certainty. Invest in curiosity.
That was a strong episode, Liam. The students are in good hands. This is Professor Erica. Thanks for watching and signing off.